Away.
All right, everybody. This is our masthead for our presentations. Kathy and I have been referring a number of people for a while to the Bit Club, and we're really glad to be here. And what our function is primarily right now is supporting a team of people, helping everybody get going. Because, working as a team with everybody, helping people learn how to do this and helping people actually run their positions, I think we all get ahead better. The more people that understand it, we're here to help. It's better for everybody. We have a YouTube channel, and we do put recordings up there, so you can help, send other people or get a review later. And we try not to put the bad ones up. We try to put the good ones up. Sometimes we miss. You can contact us on Skype. That's really the best way to get a hold of us. And there's our email. Though if somebody contacts us and they're on here, we're going to want to know who referred you. We're supporting a team here. We're always going to ask that question because we want to help that team grow. Bit Club Network Global Leaders is the Facebook page, and if you are already a member, please add your friends, family, and anybody else that you think might have an interest to that page, and that helps us. It's a worldwide website. It's up 24 hours a day, and there's always somebody around generally to answer a question or two. Also, when they say, hey, I want more information, I want to get started, something like that, then we know who to send them to, because all we got to do is look at the membership list, and there's your name, and that's a big help. We make every effort to ensure that we accurately represent the products and services of Bit Club and the potential for economic gain. Earnings or Bitcoin cash flow statements made by the company or members are estimates of what you can possibly receive. There's no guarantee that you will make these levels of Bitcoin, and you accept the risk that the earnings and Bitcoin income possibilities differ by individual. The examples are not to be interpreted as any guarantee, promise, representation, or assurance. We do not purport Bit Club as being a get-rich-quick scheme. It certainly isn't. Slowly, but not real quick. Everybody knows by now that Satoshi Nakamoto wrote his white paper. The first transactions occurred in 2009, and we're going back to the way we used to be. We're going back to where the purpose of the money itself was the authentication. It authenticated itself. It was the reason for the transaction. You didn't need to get identity structures or anything else. If they had the cash and you gave them whatever you were going to sell. It's a safe, fast way to do this. You can move any amount of money anywhere on the planet that you need to go, and pretty much anonymously in terms of prying eyes. Really, you can be tracked through the blockchain. It's a record of every transaction that's ever been done. So that's why it's not good for criminals, because it documents what they did. Anyone can set up a Bitcoin account, and there's no fees or chargebacks within Bitcoin structure itself, and especially there's no borders. That just is great. Andreas Antonopoulos says that if you have a Bitcoin account in your back pocket on your phone, you have a Swiss bank in your pocket. And you never know when you're going to need to have or take an extended vacation at a moment's notice. And that's a serious thing. A lot of people, fires, hurricanes, landslides, just all kinds of natural disasters are occurring everywhere, not to mention a lot of places civil unrest, and when you got to go, you got to go. You don't have time to hunt around and look for your funding and stuff. And with a Bitcoin account, you got everything right there on your phone. Away you go. No problems. You got a lot of silver and gold around that you said you were going to save for a rainy day, and you got to go. Try carrying $5,000 worth of silver around. You're not going to carry it very long, because somebody's going to notice it, and somebody might want to take it from you. 2014, there were $54 billion worth of fees paid, charged by these financial institutions. That's over. We don't need that anymore. We can transmit funding from any point on the planet for pennies. And we don't need their prying eyes, right? Actually sounds like a song, doesn't it? Listen, this is basically how it works. We are miners, and what miners do is they create the network, they secure the network, and they process all the transactions. That's what miners do. And every 10 minutes, we have to have a new record put into the blockchain. Blockchain is nothing more than a book, a ledger. It's credits and debits, but it's decentralized. It's converted to a software program, and every single node around the planet, hundreds and thousands of machines, all have the copy of that identical record. And they talk to one another. Every time a transaction is placed, every 10 minutes, by the miner who won the award and the right to place that block, the computers then go into gossip technology, and they share and make sure and verify that their records are the same as everybody else's records. If you get 6 confirmations, that's pretty much assured that it's locked into the blockchain and can't be changed. If any one of those transactions or one of those computers says, no, mine doesn't agree, then that's a bad transaction and it's not put into the chain. Now, in order to get those miners to do all this stuff, they had to set up a way to get Bitcoin into the system. And so anytime a miner wins the award, originally they got 50 Bitcoin. That lasted for 4 years. And then it cut in half to 25 Bitcoin. And then it cut in half in 2016 to 12.5 Bitcoin. That's where we are now. And in 2020, it's going to go to 6.25 Bitcoin. Now notice this gold line. This represents the deflationary nature of Bitcoin. Unlike fiat money, which has always been inflated. I have a book from the 1700s that lists every single currency on the planet, and every single one of them went to zero, and all because of inflation. Now, the black line represents the adoption rate. As more and more people are interested in it, it also represents price. Because the whole point here is Bitcoin is scarce, and it's hard to come by, and it's hard to produce. And that's one of the reasons why it's considered hard money, gold too. There's a book by Saifuddin Ammous. You know what a moose is? Those things with big antlers, you know, and legs, and they're hairy. He wrote a book called The Bitcoin Standard, and you really want to get your hands on that book. You don't have to read the whole thing. Just read chapters 7, 9, and 10, and then go read the rest of the book. The first half of the book is all about what constitutes money, why things become money, and that Bitcoin is the hardest money we've ever known on the planet. Okay? Now, what's so special about the Bit Club? Well, the Bit Club solves a big problem. There are 3 ways to do mining process. You buy the machines, you pay for them, you run them, you pay the electricity, you pay the upkeep, you put up with the noise and the heat generated, you got to keep them cool. Listen, the hash power has gotten so big that individual miners really, they're not a blip. They cannot compete with the number of computers that are out there solving these mathematical problems. And the more computers there are, the more difficult the math is that they have to solve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 computers is just not going to make it. So that's no longer possible. Plus, you have to keep coming up with new machines all the time. You have to keep upgrading because they run out of power. It's kind of like trying to run a Facebook thing with the original IBM dual floppy green screen PC. It's just never going to happen. Now, the other way is what they call cloud mining. That's where a company sets up a whole bank of computers, and you buy time on those computers. Now, right now, the difficulty rate, which means the number of calculations per second that's required, has gone from 3 million to over 7.1 trillion. I'm sorry, that was 3 trillion to 7.1 trillion in just this year, just a few months this year. And that's because an awful lot of miners out there decided, oh man, the price was 20,000 a coin, I'm going to get my share. And they all ran out and they bought machines and they set up big banks of machines and they all came on about the same time. I mean, you can see it month to month. The hash power is just climbing like crazy all this year. Well, you see, the difficulty rate is a protection for us. In other words, I get the question all the time, what stops everybody from just coming in and buying a bunch of machines and taking over and getting all the Bitcoin? The difficulty rate does. Because these guys that did that got a problem. The difficulty rate got so high that these guys are in debt. You know, they had to go out and they had to pay for all these machines, right? They're not mining at a profit. They're having to pay to mine. It's like having a bank account and somebody keeps taking money out of every month because you're not using the money, right? It's just stealing money. They're not making any money, so they got a problem. And we're kind of waiting for that to go bye-bye. And we think that's going to happen because Bitcoin Cash is going to fork, and we think that those miners, they got to stay profitable if they're going to keep their machines. And they're going to point their machines someplace else, and things are going to go back to normal. So that's a protection to keep anybody from coming in and trying to dominate the market. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So the way the situation works with the Bit Club is what they wanted was you come in and you buy your pools, and you pay one time, collect forever. So this representation shows you that this is a full machine, and when you sign up for a pool, you mine, that contract runs 1,000 days. Now, what they've done is they've set it up so that there is a repurchase agreement. So every time your machine mines $25 worth of Bitcoin, that's 5% of a Bitcoin. That's what a partial share is. It's 5% of the pool value, not a Bitcoin, the pool value. So if you have a $500 pool, $25 is 5%. Then you can get a partial share. So when the $25 comes in, you either put it in a credit to spend account or just a credit account and hold it, or you buy a partial share. People that are really doing well with this and making a lot of funding are all buying partial shares. So we recommend that you do that, but that's another story. Once you accumulate 20 of these little B's right here, those represent partial shares. It actually creates a whole new share, because if it's 5% times 20 is it's 100%. That's a whole new machine. Now, that first machine will then generate a second machine. Now you've got two machines running, which generate a third machine. Those machines, those three generate a fourth, those four generate a fifth, and so on, and it just keeps compounding. And the compounding is immediate. So when you generate a 5% partial share, you had one share, now you have 1.05 shares. And then when you get your second little B, now you have 1.10 shares. The third one makes it 1.15 shares. See, it's growing by 5% incremental. That's pretty doggone good. And that makes us very special. Pay once, collect forever. This perpetuates your mining for the rest of your life and the life of your family. Now, some people, they say, look, man, stock market is really doing really well. It's fantastic. Well, I don't know, you guys. It's been cracking pretty bad here lately. And what goes up goes down. And, again, you got no control or anything like that. It's going to do what it's going to do. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Others say, well, I'm going to go trade. Man, all these guys are getting rich out there. I'm going to trade coins. I'm going to trade currencies. Listen, you just go watch some videos of people trading. I'm telling you, it's horrible. You got all this stuff. It's a massive learning curve. People lose money left and right. It's a very intensive. You got to pay attention all the time, and you really can lose everything that you have. Nobody wants to do that. At least the majority of people. I never did, and I said, no, that's not for me. I don't want any part of that stuff. Now, I like looking at charts because I know how to read some of them and get some understandings, but I'm not really sitting. I'm going to risk my funds doing that. There are very few people that can do it really well. Some people say, I'm going to get gold and silver. I'm just going to hang on to that. That's God's money. Well, that's God's money. Fiat is the government's money, and Bitcoin is the people's money. And that's what I want. I don't want gold and silver. I can't use it. In times of trouble, who's going to take it? How are you going to protect it? Somebody might take it from you because they think it's going to be more valuable. They can do something with it. It's just not all that it is cracked up to be, and you can't transport it. What if you got to go across the border? You never make it across the border. Somebody will take it from you. That even goes for cash. You got to run, you got to leave, you got to go, you got to be able to take your funding with you, and it's got to be convertible and usable in any location you are, because you never know where you're going to end up. That's just a fact. So some people say, well, I'm going to just buy Bitcoins. Great, that's a good thing to do. I think you should. Right now, you can get whole Bitcoins. You're not going to be able to get them in the future. The other thing is that we think that the best thing to do is, if you want to buy some whole Bitcoins, go ahead, but you're better off getting the goose that lays that golden egg, which is the mine, getting in the mine, getting your pools going. Because even if you can get whole Bitcoins right now, which is okay, you're going to be able to collect Bitcoin the rest of your life because of the goose that's going to lay that golden egg for you. It never quits. It doesn't go to sleep. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day. You know what? We don't have any attrition here. When somebody joins and they get the mines going, they keep them forever. And we like it that way. That's what we want. Now, I'm going to prove that it's going to go up in value. You see, Amazon had sales in 2014 of $89 billion. They paid 3% transaction fees for those debit and credit cards. Just by getting rid of the debits and credit cards, that's a $2.6 billion fee structure that goes in their pocket now. Maybe they'll reduce our prices. I don't know. What do you think? I don't think so. I think they'll keep it. But anyway, a CEO is not stupid. He knows where the handwriting is on the wall. He's going to take the profit. Well, when that $89 billion starts flowing through the network, that's going to increase the value of Bitcoin by $6,300 because it's based on the capitalized value of the dollars flowing through the network. That's where the price pretty much comes from. Right now, it's around 64, 65. You had another 63, and now you're pushing between a $13,000 and a $15,000 coin. And then on top of that, you've got that $600 billion that was floating around the planet from country to country, place to place, that generated that $54 billion worth of fees. Now, when that starts flowing all through the Bitcoin network, you're talking about over a $50,000 coin, because it's going to increase it by another $42,000. And that's not the end of the story. What about gasoline? Everybody uses digital money for this. They use debit cards most of the time. A lot of people don't use cash for that anymore at all. That would run it in, and it would push it up by about another $34,000, which is phenomenal. And that's not the end of the story. Look at all the gaming sites out there. You got Bitcoin gambling. You got all these different websites that Yoville, Farmville, people like to play these games, and they take money, right? They take Bitcoin. You can use Bitcoin to buy those tokens with that you need. And look at all of these industries that we haven't even talked about. Get a manufacturer's guide and look at the volume of money going through all these different industries all over the world. All of that is going to be rushing into Bitcoin. We know that that's the case because right now what's happening is all of the third world countries, the emerging economies, there's 2.5 billion people on the planet that do not have any banking at all, and now they do. Everything runs on a phone. Everything. You can do this whole thing with just the basic phone. And so a guy right now down in South America someplace can produce his little goods and he can sell them anywhere on the planet via the World Wide Web, and he literally can get paid instantaneously on his phone. Do you think they're ever going to give that up? And besides that, these third world countries and emerging economies are never going to give it up because now they have a way of competing with the so-called first world countries. Because the first world countries kind of dominated those guys and took all their natural resources and created some problems for them. And now what they're doing is they're saying, come on down, financial people. Hey, they may not want you. They may want to complain about what you're doing. Come on down here. We'll do it down here. You guys are all welcome. And that little country of Malta right now is bringing in huge, huge volumes of business already. The rest of the world is going to follow suit. You are never going to stop this process. There are too many people that are going to have better and improved lives, and all of ours are going to improve too. No question about it. So it's the software companies, which are traveling to wherever they are wanted, work with the hardware companies, which are also moving to wherever they are wanted, and they generate the mining through those. The mining then generates the coin. The coin goes into your custodial account. If you want to buy, sell, or trade, you go to an exchange. And then all of these little names of these companies here represent the huge ecosystem that's going towards Bitcoin right now. This is not optional. If you don't believe me, just go to Crypto Coins News, go to CoinDesk News, just start looking at the publications talking about this. There is a massive, massive worldwide movement towards Bitcoin, and you are at the very, very, very beginning. And you're in the only program that's safe. In other words, nobody has ever lost a dime in this organization in the last 4 years. They're just 4 years old. They've got over 2 million contracts running, and they're growing by about 8,000 a day. That's phenomenal. It's amazing what's going on. And we've become a huge distribution platform now, and everything works on a phone. And that links us to our CoinPay system that we're coming out with, which all BitClub members can participate in, and they can go to their local merchants or anybody who takes money for anything and set them up so that they can take crypto coins. And the neat thing about this is there's no bank involved. The funding goes directly from the consumer directly to the provider. No bank. 1% maximum fee instead of credit card fees, anywhere between 3 and 10%. The credit card companies create hassles for you to get the cards. They create hassles for the merchant. They increase the costs. And that's all gone. That's over with right now. And so anybody can get involved in this thing. Within 60 days, we expect that this is going to be fully live for the whole planet. It's live right now for Japan, and it's live right now for South Korea. This thing has been tested and tested and tested. They've never been in any big hurry to dump it out there. They wanted to make sure it was absolutely perfect, and it is. We've been running the Big Club on it for the last year too, over 50 billion a month. Not a hitch, no problems. And we can get into that program, and when we refer somebody, see, this could be bigger than the club. I mean, in terms of the company. We get half of that fee, and the rest of it flows through the network. So everybody that joins the Big Club, even if you never go out and tell people about CoinPay, you will be receiving some compensation because they want everybody in the club to receive something from all of the technologies that they produce. And this is just one of the technologies. There's more coming. We have a webinar from South Africa you can get your hands on and listen about that. So to join the Big Club, it's a $99 membership fee, and then you buy your pool. We really only have one pool. It's called a founder pool. But there's three Bitcoin pools in it. So there's a $500 one, a $1,000 one, and a $2,000 one. And when you own all three, when you then have $3,500 of total, and that makes the founder pool. Now you can't buy 7,500. That doesn't work. You have to have all three pools together to have the founder situation. But when you do that, you now get a bonus. And it doesn't matter whether you start it right now or you come in later, you're still going to get a bonus, whatever the bonus might be at that time. Right now, it's 1,000 shares of that CoinPay company. Now, that CoinPay company is very disruptive to credit cards and debit cards. And we expect that some bank is going to want to try to buy that in the future. You got the shares. You can sell the shares and take the profit. Whatever you get's a profit, right? Because it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar sale because it's worldwide. Okay, let's open it up for questions and see if anybody has anything they'd like to say. And if they don't, then I'll go into the compensation plan a little bit and we'll call it a night.
All right, thank you very much. We have a lot of new guests here tonight. Do you have any questions so far? Or any new members or members? Would you like to say something or have any questions? If so, just go down to the bottom of the page and you'll see participants. Just click on that and you'll see your hand, your microphone, and you can unmute yourself. We have Alaya.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead. How are you this evening?
I'm very good. How are you?
Great. Are you a member or a guest?
I'm a guest.
Oh, great. And who are you a guest of this evening?
Sienna Lear introduced me to this club.
Fantastic. All
yeah,
right.
wonderful.
So I'm like new to all this. So you don't use your bank card or anything.
No,
right?
don't
So
need
then,
it.
if you're going to, how would you send money to the Bit Club? Like,
How would you get the Bitcoin going?
how do I get the funds into the club without a bank card?
Well, there's a number of different ways. If you don't have a bank card, do you have adequate cash available?
Yes.
Okay, you can contact local Bitcoins. You can contact your upline or the person referring you, and some of the members. A lot of them have coin available that they will be willing to exchange for some of the fiat. And there's more than one way. Just get back with your upline or wherever and let them know what you want to accomplish, and we'll find a way.
We'll help you get going. Yeah,
it's not hard.
definitely.
All right. Okay.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that might have a question at this point? Okay, we will let John keep rolling. You're doing a great job.
Right now, one thing
I did have one question. I'm sorry. This is Sienna.
Oh, okay.
This isn't an appropriate question, in which case I could get answered some of the time. But I was informed that, I was asking for the sort of the maximum, how I should enter. And I was told the 10-pack rather than the founders. And I would like to know the difference between the two, or I need to do both, or what your thoughts are on that.
Okay, we're going to get into some of that right now.
Okay.
All right, I'll help you with it. A good question.
Okay, so if you hold that thought, we'll get into that and can answer any further questions after he shows you this half.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you this. This is a structure of where you notice here is we say a primary spot. This is the first position that somebody would come in with. And that spot is just you're buying a pool. Now, that pool can be a $500 pool or any one of the $1,000 pool or the $2,000 pool. The founder is the $3,500 package. It's all three pools in that position. But when we first get people going, we generally don't recommend that they do the 3,500 initially. We recommend that you get this structure put into place. This is called the 10-pack. It consists of an initial position, and then you bring on two people, which creates what we call your team one. This has a certain commission level. I'll go into that in a minute. It's 5%. This one is team two. The next three positions you take is team two, and that has a 6% commission. And these commissions are paid to your primary spot. Team three is 7%, and team four is 8%. This is the maximum commission that's available. And primarily why we're doing it this way is because we have a commission structure in which you can build everything on your own. You really don't need to refer anybody. You can own all of these machines yourself. And we structure them in such a way is that these machines generate commissions for you, and they generate bonus payments for you. And so this is why somebody can come in and bring their retirement money here and just build a whole mass of machines for themselves and generate a perpetual income for themselves. because you don't have to actually refer people. Now, what happens typically is, and this happens quite often, somebody will come in and they will buy a pool to see what's going on, and they'll understand the compensation plan, and then they're talking about what happens, what's going on with them, what they're doing. You know, you go meet a friend, or you go someplace and you bring it up in conversation, and next thing you know, somebody says, hey, I want to get in on that. Give me some information about that. The next thing you know, they're calling us up and say, I have a friend that would like to know more about this. And we've had a number of positions happen like that. People are bringing in tens of thousands, because you got to understand, on the Western world, the economies are seriously failing. I know they look really good on the surface, but believe me, behind the scenes, the bond markets, the rates, the inflation, the stocks, all this stuff is in serious problem. You can see that because of the faltering economies, and they are faltering. I know that everybody says they're doing great, but the numbers don't really show that. You've got all of the pensions, all the Western countries are all underfunded. They don't have enough money to pay the benefits. They don't have the money to pay the social benefits that they've been promised. See, there's no way $21 trillion of deficit, $200 trillion of unfunded mandates, plus the failing pensions being totally underfunded. There's not enough money to pay any of this stuff. And so what people are beginning to realize is they need to do something to go to safety. That's why Bitcoin is so important here, because they can't take Bitcoin from you. So you can literally, the reason you need this stuff is so you can take money as money at risk. If it's in a bank account, it's at risk. You do not own that money. It's got your name on it, but they can take it from you. It's called a bail-in. Those rules are already on the books. You have a number of countries. Poland, for example, has already confiscated all of the private pension plans that people had set up for themselves to pay for the public ones. So what we try to do is show you how to set yourself up so that you won't have that chance of loss in the event that something happens. Because, you see, I want to have an economy that I can live in too. I don't want to end up like Venezuela. And many of you may know that Venezuelans down there have been, kind of perpetuating themselves through the use of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. There was a fellow that came to one of our meetings the other day who was in Greece when that went down, and he says, well, it was no big deal. We just used Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know who this guy was. I couldn't even tell you who he is now. He just came to the meeting, and that's what he said. It just goes to prove that we're on the right track. So this 10-pack arrangement, we just do this with $500 pools to start with. Then if you want to get to the founder level, you want to upgrade these positions, we recommend that this position be a founder, and we recommend that this 9th position be a founder. That's the $3,500 pool. None of that is absolutely necessary. You got to get in where you get in, and as you earn a Bitcoin and others, you can use it to upgrade your positions to generate more and more mining. No problem whatsoever. But what I want to show you is that there's a very extensive commission structure that you can build, either own all yourself, or you can refer other individuals to occupy these positions. So we say that everybody should try to get these positions right here. But what we really want you to get to is this one, the top one, and this 9th one right here. These can be you, or they can be other individuals that will take them. You refer them here, and they bring them in. Now let me bring up a commissions chart to show you what happens when we do that. Where is it? There it is right there. Okay. Now, let's see if I can make that a little bigger. And let's see if I can just make it bigger this way. There we go. That's a little better. Bring this chart back up. Now, I want you to notice that, see, here's team 1's 2 people in it. See these 2 people right here? There's a 5% coded commission. So when you refer somebody, it's a $500 pool, you're going to, this spot here will receive $25 each time. Now, when they begin their mining process, when the mining starts and they accumulate and they do a partial share, in other words, they mine $25 worth of Bitcoin because it's 5% of the pool value if it's a $500 pool, you get a 10% commission on that. Remember I said 20 of those makes a whole new machine. So when you buy full positions, you get a 5% commission. When you buy them 5% at a time, you end up with double the commission of 10%. Now, the cool thing is this. When you get these 20 partial shares, you've made 3 times the money, because when it creates another full share, you get another full commission on that, and that's perpetual. Then in the next 3 people that come in, see, this is kind of a pay-for-performance program. It's a way of generating an income based upon some kind of a performance number. And that's why we say that a lot of people, what they do is they take the coin out of these positions and they buy more pools with it. They just keep adding them, because I want you to understand very clearly, there's no cost to doing this. In other words, you prime the pump, you buy your position, but the positions pay for themselves. How do they do that? Well, when you own your machine, you don't have to pay for distribution of the coin. When you turn it on, it generates Bitcoin. That's what it does. You follow me? It's not something you have to invent or make the machine do. That's what it does. And you don't have to pay a distribution cost, because you're an owner. That's what you're getting. It's like buying a cow. If you buy a cow, you get milk, you get hide, you get a calf, right? That's what a cow does. That generates for you. That's the very nature of it. So every time you receive your cost back on a machine, you just get another machine. We do this all the time, and there's no stopping it. And we do it through the automatic process of partial shares, because it pays us twice the commission level. All right, so in team 2, these 3 people here, you get a 6% commission paid to your top position, 6%, 6%. And because they're building their first team, so when they bring on their first team, each position stands alone. So when this guy brings on 2 people, that's his team 1. It's just like this structure is starting over. And he gets the 5%, and you would get the override of 1%. In team 3, and this guy brings somebody on, he gets 5%, and you get the difference. You get the spread. Now, here's why we want to get you to team 9, because this is the maximum commission levels possible. So this position has an 8% commission with it. Let's see if I can bring that up a little bit. See right here, 8%. So anytime you bring anybody in your team 4, which can be infinite wide, you can bring as many people as you want. It's just automatic. When you bring somebody in now, they automatically drop in your team 4. You get an 8% commission on that. You bring somebody else in, same thing. You get an 8% commission on that. And it just keeps going. As many people as you bring in are all going to be on that team 4. That's why we want you to do this 10-pack. We want you to get to this team 4 level. Now, here's some of the magic. In these teams, when you're getting this, these are the partial shares. So remember what I said, when you get the 5% mining, $25 on the $500 pool, you get a 10% commission in the team 1 accounts. Team 2 pays you 12%, which is double the 6. Team 3 is 7, which you get 15% on. That's more than double. And when you're in team 4, you get 8%. You get 18% commission on those partial shares. Where can you find a guaranteed 18% payment on your funds? There isn't any. This is it. Now, what's to stop you from taking the mining from these positions and coming over here and buying partial shares with them and paying yourself 18% commission on a deal? That's number 1. Number 2, every time these people in these team 4 positions begin to generate their team 1, you get the spread difference. So when this guy, team here, goes out and brings a first person in his first level, team 1, one of these 2, he gets the 5%, but you get the 3% spread. That goes on to infinity. So every time that person generates his own team 9 situation, he does the same thing we're doing right here, you get that 3% spread into perpetuity. It just continues forever. In the second one, there's a 6% commission they get, so you got a total of 8% here. If that team is if he's getting 6% here, you get the difference. You get the 2. So you end up with a perpetual 3% commission override, a 2% commission override on this level, and a 1% commission override on this level. And then as all of those positions are generating a partial share, you're getting the spreads on that too. I hope we can understand that that is amazing. In addition to that structure, you get what's called a cycle bonus, because every time a machine or position is generated, there's a binary structure that gets a credit presented to it. Anytime there's 15 credits, that's a $200 bonus in Bitcoin. And you can get many of those per day. In addition to that, everybody in your genealogy that gets referred or placed under you in your genealogy contributes credits. And those credits, doesn't matter how deep they are, everybody in that line gets those credits. And as those credits flow up, 15 on one side and 15 on the other, causes the cycle bonus. And every time somebody cycles, you get a matching $10 payment. Now, I didn't understand when I looked at this commission structure originally just how generous that was. I mean, I had no idea. I looked at that and I was talking to Michael Alexander and I says, Michael, what is this cheesy little $10 bonus payment you're talking about here? How are we going to make any money with that? He said, oh no, my wife's making $60,000 a month from that $10 payment, just the $10 payment. And I says, you got to tell me, man. You got to explain this to me. I don't understand. What are you talking about? He says, yeah. And that this thing just repeats itself over and over and over again. It's not just $10. You get 2 or 3 cycles from people, and the people above them can cycle, and people above them can cycle. And if they're in your genealogy, each one of them is paying you $10, $20, $30, $40 a day sometimes. And, that's possible. So anyway, he was coming back through. I'd been telling people, and I had forgotten who I asked the question to. Forgot it was Michael. Got a chance to meet with him on his way to another place, and I said, Michael, was that you or Joe that I was talking to about that $10 bonus payment, being wife getting $60,000 a month? He says, oh, no, it was me. I remember the conversation. And he had a funny little smile on his face, and he says, it's a hell of a lot more now. So it is a very rich program. If you want to come in and buy your own positions and let those machines accumulate over time, no problem. They'll all work the same way. It's just how excited you get when you find out what a good deal you've walked into. I dare you to keep your mouth shut, because nobody is. I had another guy come in. He found us via the internet. He found some of our presentations. He came in and called in. He says, hey, I want to join. I want to get with you guys. He said, I want to buy, I think 32 positions. I think it was 30 or 32. Okay, great. Glad to have you. We signed him up, and we structured him exactly the way I'm describing so that he maximized his compensation from those machines operating every day. Now, remember, there's no auto ship here. You don't have to buy anything else. You don't have to do anything. The machines are on, and they're running, and they're generating the coin, and the system just continues to do this every single day, and it will do it for the rest of your life. Okay, and so he didn't want to refer anybody either, but it wasn't more than 2 weeks. And he called her and he says, I have a friend that wants to come in and she wants to get 40-some positions. Okay. We helped him set that up. This is what happens. Some people come in and they watch it for a while, and they watch it for a while, and they just can't quite get it. They don't understand. This is working. There's something going on, but you don't. Anyway, this is what we do. We spend our time teaching people how all this works, how to structure their positions, making sure you don't make any mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes. That's why we are helping other people not make those mistakes. It doesn't make any benefit to us to have you make a mistake. So that's what we're here for. Anyway, any questions?
Well, thank you. And I got to remind everybody, he's only touching on just a couple of the bonuses. There's like 5 or 6 others that we just don't have the time to get into tonight, but they're mind-blowing. When you see the depths of this program and how rich it is, it's really just mind-blowing. We didn't talk about infinity bonuses or
Generational bonuses.
Yeah, I forget some of the others, but it's
well. The other thing is that, remember, one of the philosophies these guys have is, see, they've made over 323 millionaires in the last 3 years. Their goal is 10,000. Russ says, what do you do when you've got all the money in your life? This thing is far more successful than they ever anticipated. And he says, we can go anywhere we want to go. We can buy anything we want to buy. What do you do? Well, you help other people get the same lifestyle you have. That's what they get a kick out of that.
Yeah, it's all about friends and family.
Seeing people get successful at this thing. And especially in third world countries. Oh my gosh, it's changed the lives of some people you just can't believe.
Tell
This
us
one
about
woman
that
actually,
lady.
yeah, this one woman, she literally had to ask her kids that she wanted to do this. She wanted to get the money to buy a pool.
They
And
were
in order,
so poverty stricken. I mean, really poverty stricken.
the only way they could do that was they had to eat bread every day for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids were okay with it, and that's what they did. And she prepared the bread in such a way every day that it made it look like it was a different meal. I don't know what she did, but she did it.
Different, and yeah, just got.
Her life has totally changed. And you can see her and you can hear her about her on the South African video where Russ and the guys were down there talking to that. She's the one that put those 3,000 people in that room and brought Russ down there to do it, to do the presentation for him. All of those people's lives in that room were changed because of that one woman. That was amazing.
It just raises goosebumps. I mean, her children will now never have to want for anything.
They never known no poverty like they did.
Yes, yeah. Hallelujah. So, and there's so many stories like this in this club. We just really don't have time to get into all of them, but there's some great stories here.
Well, we don't even know all of them. I mean,
No, we don't, but the more we find out all the time. Plus, we had little Mary, this lady, she forgot that she had gotten into this club, and one of our members contacted her, and she said, "Oh, I think I'm a member of that." So she never knew how to get into her account, so they helped her get into her account, and lo and behold, she had like $6,000 sitting back there that she didn't even know she had. You know, it's like we had another guy. I could go on and on. We had another guy down in Peru. He'd gotten an account, and I think he had 19 shares already. One of
19 Bitcoin.
19 Bitcoin. He didn't even know he had. He's down helping the indigenous people, and that was a really neat story. They do their arts and crafts, and now they're able to sell them all over the world, and that's just it. This club is just changing lives everywhere, globally. So, could I get some members, or do we have any questions now from any guests, or any members want to come forward and tell us what drew you to the club and what you've seen so far? I'm not sure.
Excuse me, John.
Yeah.
Could you do a quick version of your retirement calculator? I know you got several new people on here that probably haven't seen it, and my guest hasn't seen it.
All right.
So
let's just do that real quick here. Let me see if I can let's get into
While John's hunting for that, I just want to point out there's so many ways to make commissions, and there's so many ways to put this thing together. And we've got a team here that will help you find your way, you and your sponsor, find your way through so you can get the most out of it, because there's a lot to learn, and we've got John and Kathy put on trainings a couple times a week, so there's lots and lots of help. So don't get scared just because there's a lot going on. It's a fun and exciting ride, so put your chips on the table and start playing, folks.
Okay, so let me bring
Yeah.
up the,
Agree.
let's see, let me bring up another thing here. Get a little WordPad going here. We need something to do calculations with here. All right, so
Do we have Stephen in the house? Does he have a calculator?
well, I got one. I got a little magic calculator that pops
okay.
up right there. See that?
Ah, fantastic. Where'd you find that?
Huh?
Well, Stephen, you've been replaced by AI.
Well, I'd rather have somebody else help me do it. Yeah, because it becomes more real when I do it. They don't know. Sleight of hand, They think I'm a magician. I can make up these numbers.
Oh, we have Walter just asking a question in the chat room.
Sure.
And we're just about ready to tell you exactly what you want to know. What happens when Bitcoin goes up in price, maybe 60,000? Also, what happens when technology changes its...
Well, I can tell you what happens when the price goes up to 60,000. You're going to have a bigger smile on your face. Pretty soon your cheeks are going to be able to hurt. It's going to be a problem.
You're going to be screaming like our guy down in Peru. I'll never forget. He was so happy. It's like,
You
wow.
just say, hey, Walt, you got great dental work there, man. How do you keep those teeth so clean? That's what happens. I'm not sure if that's your question that you had there or not, but there's no question that it's going to go up. It has to. That's why I showed you those numbers. It's just an impossibility that it's not going to go up.
Well, we can show them the
What I'm doing with it is
much.
I'm trying to help people save their pension plans.
Yeah.
Because the pensions are going bye-bye.
Just go on YouTube and Google pension crisis. I mean,
can actually do that real quick.
Devastating. I don't want to distract you here, but
well, you already
it's
did.
a real eye opener. I mean, people are receiving letters in the mail every day. We were going to pay you so much in pension. These people have worked all their lives, you know, to have a pension. And then they get a letter in the mail saying, oh, you're only going to get a half or a third of what we thought you were going to get because we can't afford to pay you. You know, they took in the money and not been responsible. And that's more homeless. So the more people we can share this with, that's my mission. Help them so they can survive. I know I'm too damn old to want to go.
Here's that lady you're talking about right there.
Yeah.
She had a $49,000 a year pension in a city called Loyalton, California. They sent her a letter earlier this year. We don't have the money to pay you. We're going to cut your pension to $19,000.
What do you do?
No joke.
Yeah, and when we looked at this originally, there was like 176,000 stories on here of all the pension crisis. It's happened at every place.
Right.
Everybody.
We don't have time to play some of these.
And globally, you know, Japan's just the same. But anyway, please go on here and check out some of these stories.
Yeah, you've seen it, so you can go look at it and check it out yourself. Look, here, let me explain how this thing works really quickly. Earlier this year, not right at the moment, I want you to understand something. Mining is variable, and I'll get back to talking about that. Earlier this year, Andy had he's taken some positions that are just test positions. And he had a $500 pool that he got about a year. And from that point on, at the end of a year, it started at 39 cents a day, and then about 6 months it was $1.16 a day, and then by the end of the year it was $3.29 a day. So if you take $3.29 and you multiply that times 365, okay, you're going to multiply that times 365 days, that gives you $1,200 a year. That one machine is generating $1,200 a year, and it will continue to generate money for the rest of its life, that person's life, and past that person's life. Well, the question becomes is, what if you had 100 machines? So we'll take and multiply that number times 100. That's $120,085 a year for the rest of your life. Now, how much did that cost? Okay, the cost to buy that is $599 times 100. There's your cost to buy it, right there, $59,900. Now, how does that compare to the conventional method they've been putting everybody through for years? Okay, we'll come back to those numbers. This is no inflation. This is a person who's 40 years old and his retirement age is 65. And it doesn't matter. The time frame is what's important, the 25 years. I could put any ages in there as long as there's 25-year time frame. And I'm only talking about a $100,000 a year income, $8,333 per month. Now, this section down here calculates the nest egg required in order to pay that. So a person who's getting a 1% return on his bank account, I don't know what others are getting, but it's not very much, and it hasn't been for some time, would need $10 million, $9,999,996 in the bank for paying you that $8,333 a month for the rest of your life. Now, some people say, well, I'm not going to live the rest of that. I don't need to, I can spend that. I can spend a lot of that. I don't need to save all that money. Well, when are you going to die? You're going to die at 140, 120? You know, actuaries are projecting 120 to 140 now. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows. But the only thing worse than dying is outliving your money. What are you going to substitute for money? There is no substitute. You can't play with this. You've got to have some guarantees here. So you've got to have the funding. Now, again, if for example, somebody could get an annuity, a single premium immediate annuity from an insurance company. Now, remember, there's no adjustment on the income. It's going to stay the same. If you use a 3% rate, which is typical for those kind of annuities, it's going to change the number that you have to accumulate. So now you only need to accumulate $3,333,000. Oh, no big deal. Just pop out $3 million. Most people don't even make close to $3 million a year. How are you going to save $3 million? That's to generate this income without inflation. And you don't have any savings. Most people have no savings. They're not saving any money now because they can't. What happens? They start saving. Something happens and they spend it, and they keep getting into this cycle where they keep going into debt and they keep paying off debt all the time. They can't save any money. And so down here it says that if you wanted to do this, you would have to save $9,240 per month for 25 years and don't miss a month in order to generate this income. Okay, so what is that? How much is that? Where's that calculator? All right, $9,240, $9,240 times 12 equals times 25 years equals $2,772,000 is what you have to pay in order to generate that retirement plan. Now, I know everybody's a whiz at stocks, man. They're going to invest. They're going to get a 20% return every year on their money. You're still investing in dollars. Do you understand? The dollar is dead. Look up dollar de-dollarization. Look up anything on these economic projections of what they're doing and how they're killing SWIFT, how they're really getting rid of the dollar. Nation after nation is already dumping the dollar. They're doing the largest energy deal in the world was done between Russia and China, and they did not use dollars. So all of those dollars that these governments have been holding are going to come flooding back in, and our dollar is going to become worthless. Nobody's going to want it. So it doesn't matter what you saved, what you own. If it's based in dollars, it's not worth anything. And governments are going to tax you to death because that's how they have to cover their contracts. And if they inflate it up so it's worthless, nobody will care what's being paid. But the problem is you're not going to be able to own property and do other things. This is a very vicious cycle. And it's not pretty. It's not fun to talk about. But there's an answer here. Okay? Now, if I can generate $120,000 a year income on $60,000 worth of mining machines, how much are we saving you right here? $2,772,000, really, right? Minus the, I don't know, I'm just going to round it to 60,000. Saving you $2,712,000. And it's possible those machines can generate that $120,000 in the first year. Now, let me ask you a question. What if it took 5 years to generate that income? Which is the better deal? Got any answers, Tom? Is it a better deal to go 25 years? Or what if it took 5 years? Isn't this a better deal?
Yes.
Did he go get a cup of coffee?
Oh my God, yes.
We'll answer.
Okay. Well,
I see over here now.
What if it took 15 years to get there? Is it still a better deal?
More than any bank ever paid me. That's
Well,
Hell yeah.
of course it's a better deal. There's no possible way. What if it took 25 years to get there? It's still a better deal. You had the $2,712,000 that you didn't have to save or earn. And you still got the money. And you got 120, you didn't get 100.
absolutely.
Now, some people, they need to finance it. And this is not a financial calculator, so I can't do the calculations here. But you know, I say finance it over a 5-year period. You take money out of your pension account or wherever you got, do a 5-year payment, and the payments are really very low. Even if it was 24% interest and you took advances on credit cards to do that, your payment would only be $1,750 to do that for over 5 years. But what if you couldn't even do that? What if you could only do 40% of that? 40% of that $1,750, about a $700 payment maybe. That generates about 24 machines. That 24 machines generating the $3.29 a day generates more than $40,000 a year of money, which could be put back in to buy more machines to get your 100. You don't have, we have a problem in this club. Here's the problem. The things do pretty well. And we have 2 million contracts going, but we only have like 45 mega monster people, or maybe 400 and 500 monster levels. People get income coming in, and it exceeds that. And they quit work. They go play. They take the funds and they go use it and spend it. They don't keep going out there and referring other people or doing anything else. They don't have to. It's not necessary. So this is the way to go. And this is what I'm trying to do, is show people that once they get their funds into the Bitcoin arena, into the club, now it can't be taken from them. They can't do a bail-in and take it out of your bank account. They can't confiscate your IRA and 401k, which they are going to do. California, New York, Texas, and Illinois are already coming after the 401ks and the IRAs right now. They don't have any other answers. And they're going to catch you to death. And I have videos. I got one of the Kentucky governor just telling you just like it is. He's just saying nobody's talking about this stuff. Nobody's doing anything about this stuff. And I have covers from employee associations way back in 2006 talking about this issue, and nobody's ever done anything about it. Tom, I hope that answered your question. Okay, well, if nobody has any questions, we'll wrap it up.
Well, I see Miss Michelle in here tonight. She's awfully quiet. Can you say a couple words?
Hi, everyone.
Hey,
Absolutely.
how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm actually just got out of a meeting. It was last minute. I'm doing fantastic. I'm just so happy to be here. I am mining 24/7. I started mining in 2016, and I had nothing but positive results. And I joined Kathy's and John's organization just like the beginning of the year. And I'm doing this pretty much full time because my commissions I get paid in Bitcoin Cash. So, pretty soon I'm going to have a stash of Bitcoin Cash, and that's going to get up. And I'm mining 24/7 on Bitcoin, And yes, it's a much better deal. Yeah, absolutely, by far. We need to stop thinking about it. Oh, let me think about it. Oh, let me see what your results are. Oh, let me this. People are scared. People have a fear about Bitcoin. Stop being scared, because the world's going to use it. Either you like it or not. This is now. Get in. Don't think about it. Stop letting your paradigm telling you to not.
Would you recommend that other people go buy that book, The Bitcoin Standard, and study that and show it to their friends and neighbors and stuff about what's going on?
That book became my best friend. I carry that book everywhere with me.
Yeah, it's really quite something.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. What happened to your husband that drew you to this?
My husband lost his pension. My husband works for a big, huge corporation. He's a pilot. He works for Delta. He's been in the company for more than 40 years. He's going to retire in 14 months. They went after the big money. Who's making the majority of the money in the Delta corporations? The pilots and the co-captains and the captains, right? Well, they didn't. The people, the company, the CEO, and the main people at the top, their pensions didn't get cut, but my husband did. He was so sick for years. We went to a crisis on how we're going to live with a 50% cut. Not only did he lost his pension, he took a 29% cut, and then 46 months later, they took another 15% cut. Thank goodness we do not live beyond our needs, But yeah, and so I found this. I had a friend of mine that told me about it in 2016. I was a little skeptical about it, but I knew the money was going away. I knew in my heart that the new money was Bitcoin. I just knew it because since I was 9 years old, back when I was going to church, they were talking about the money, the currency is going to change, you know. And so I got involved. I didn't even tell my husband. I just did it. Do I need to have a decision from him to do something? Absolutely not. Do I need for him to say it's okay for you to go spend a couple $100 on an outfit? Absolutely not. I'm a decision maker. I made a decision. I bought some mining machines and I was getting commissions. Back then it was Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, wow, this is actually a legitimate business. Let me see if I could, build do a referral, get pay on referral. So that's what I was doing. And I had great results. I had positive results and I'm not going to look back. I can't look back. I'm just moving forward. I'm, every day.
You're doing good. You're active.
So who's your biggest fan now?
My husband. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you. Okay, back to that story. Yes. Now he's all in. He's extremely smart guy. He gets the finance business. He has a major in finance and he's like, oh, Bitcoin's gonna, anyhow, long story short, he's in. And we invested some more over here with John and Kathy and we had great results. And my husband does work overtime. He works his butt off to get more mining machines. We do where it takes. We're not buying anything, purchasing anything big, because what's going to happen in 3-5 years, I could deal with that later, but it's now. I mean, I even tell people like, okay, there's money in people's garage, go sell stuff. Go sell your jewelry. Go sell your diamonds.
Yeah.
You can buy as many pearls as you want, ladies. Don't worry about driving a nice car, keeping up with the Joes. Just forget about that.
That's a nice thing, though. This is affordable, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this.
Absolutely not. You can spend $600.
Yeah.
And in a few months, just going out to dinner. People drop $60, $100, sometimes $200 on a dinner bill, And to me, it's like, you know what? I'd rather put that in an investment right now, So it's. I mean, people have different income brackets. What's a lot to you might be different for somebody. It could be very little for somebody else. We all have different. We can't tell you how much to invest. It's all up to you. Mm-hmm. But what I could say,
$600 to get in. There's no hidden fees. And
$600. It's not a lot of money.
Like over in Asia and stuff. Once you own a Bitcoin, you own it. Nobody can take it away from you. You actually are the owner forever.
Yeah, and I'm going to share something too, if I may. This club is more than just mining. I mean, you get paid in Bitcoin Cash. You could withdraw your Bitcoin Cash out of your wallet and do what you want. It's money.
Yeah. Well, just put it this way: it doesn't. We can convert between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin anytime we want.
Instantly, yeah.
But
absolutely,
you can buy anything you want with Bitcoin today already. It's not very difficult.
You can buy homes, even anywhere. Homes.
I could transfer money if I'm in
college.
If I'm at the Bahamas, I can transfer money to Johnny and Kathy if I want. They could transfer me money as well.
Well, let me tell you a story about our friend down in Queensland. They got hit with a Category 5 hurricane. What was that? Maybe 2 years ago. And
Hurricane Debbie.
Yeah, I mean, they lost everything. But they got to a farmer's house, and with his generator, they were able to charge their cell phones. And they instantly put a message to us, can we send them some Bitcoin? And I guess we were talking to him. And we just instantly heard the ping from our blockchain to their blockchain. And we were able to help them. No third party, no Red Cross, none of that. And they got all of the money like you probably won't with some of these organizations that are out there trying to help people,
Yeah, and you were just helping Ecuador.
How do we know? Yeah.
Yeah, we just end up helping another country.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no borders. So you don't have to worry about money rules. And a lot of the countries won't allow you to send the value of Bitcoin into their country. It's, these are questions for other times. This does not really germane
Right.
to people coming on board and being able to use this stuff. It's here.
It's great.
You got a
We
good
have been
3 to
truly
5
blessed.
years at this before to seriously make money. And literally, you could
Out
get
of Bitcoin.
but that's not guaranteed. We're not guaranteeing anything here. We're all
We're
using
creating
some.
millionaires. We can't promise you that we can create billionaires at this point. But,
Look, it depends on what they do with it. I mean,
Right.
if they just want to bring it in as a savings account, great. If they want to refer people, great. It's up to them. There's nothing. Nobody's going to hold them back.
Okay, let's get back to Walter's question that he originally had. Did that help at all? We're mining, when we even mine a fraction, little bits, when they come into your wallet through this club, and when Bitcoin rises to $60,000 and beyond, you're going to have, very, very big smile on your face, like John said. Did we answer his question okay? Or we have a little video on that.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, my other question was if technology really changes, like they're bringing in this lightning.
Oh, the cloud that.
No.
Yeah, and it'll make Bitcoin transactions very fast and much cheaper. How will that affect the system?
It'll increase the adoption rate. It'll go faster. That's already happening, Walter. That's a very positive development. Great. I love it.
Okay, I had one other question. It's sort of personal. I was signing up, a membership today through an exchange through Bittrex, and the money left Bittrex, but I think I made a mistake on the Bit Club because it doesn't show there. I did that.
Walter, you didn't check with us before you did it. We tell people to absolutely not send funds from an exchange. Do not. We only do this through a blockchain account.
Which has had too many problems with different exchanges. So blockchain is the only one we really trust. So if you have it, send it from your bit, wherever you got it from, and move it over to a blockchain account. We always walk people through enrolling. So we would be happy.
Okay, so what's going to happen to my $99?
Well, let me get back to this here.
Okay.
What happens is in these exchanges is they say that they've taken the money out of your account and they say they sent the funds, okay? But they don't. They tend to batch process them. It could take a number of days for them to actually really send the money through a transaction, okay? Blockchain always sends it instantaneously and it arrives at BitClub fine. As long as the amounts were correct, it should show up eventually over in the BitClub.
Let me also add this. Some of those exchanges, I know Coinbase does that too. They subtract the fee from the amount that you're sending.
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah, and blockchain will add it. It might just be a little bit, 14 cents or whatever. But the other exchanges will short you, and therefore then we get all kinds of problems.
Well, what happens is it doesn't complete the invoice, so it's not recognized.
Yeah.
And so what you then have to do is you have to go into the blockchain, you have to get the hashtag on that transaction, and we have to trace it and find out what was the actual amount that was remaining after the fee, and then we have to add the deficient amount in the same address, and that will push it through. If that doesn't work, then what we have to do is put in a ticket to tech support and let them work through and extract the money from the blockchain.
Mm-hmm. So
we solve
please let
all
us
of those
walk you
problems.
through.
We solve all those problems just by using a blockchain account. So we quit doing anything, especially exchanges.
There's a few learning curves. There are short ones, but that's why we like to walk people through, jump on Zoom and help them set up a blockchain and help them do everything A to Z. And it doesn't take that long, and it saves a whole lot of headaches. So we can.
I think I have an appointment. Well, Sue set up an appointment.
One more question, and we'll talk to you shortly, Walter. Brent, go ahead, Brent. Oops, you just muted yourself.
I did. Sorry,
I
didn't realize
unmuted
you
you.
were
Sorry.
unmuting me.
We're
Um,
playing whack-a-mike.
this has been this is the first opportunity in a long time I've been able to get on a call, and it's so nice to get the refresher and see the 100-pack display that John does so well. And I just want to thank both of you. You've been instrumental in helping me get going, along with Tanya helping me get this process going. I've enjoyed every second of it and learned an awful lot. And the support here is absolutely tremendous. And I'm trying to speak to anybody out there who's on the fence. If you're on the fence, jump off the fence. Just take a leap of faith, because if the dollar value is a concern for you, then start, open up an account on an exchange and start scrimping and saving and doing whatever you need to do. Like that lady who ate bread for a month. I couldn't believe that story.
I know that just brings
3,000 people in the room.
tears to your eyes.
It does, and it's life, as you heard. Anybody who's new to this, it's life changing. It's already changed my life, because it's given me an opportunity to look at so many different alternatives that I didn't even know existed. So if money's the problem, just do what you need to do to get it. And I'm pretty sure, Kathy, you told me that right at the beginning. Do what you need to do to get the money, to get it in there, to get it started, to get the process going, a little bit at a time. If you're putting money aside for an RSP, which is, I have 20 years of banking experience, and I can't believe the advice that I provided to people way back then, but that was what I was told to do. We didn't have Bitcoin way back then when I was in banking, so we didn't have these kind of opportunities. This is amazing. Like, I can't even put it into words how excited I am about this whole process. All I can say, like I said, is if you are on the fence, get off the fence. Do what you can. Scrimp and save. Put some money together. Start doing this process. Buy a machine at a time, which is exactly what I've been doing. I didn't have a large sum of money to invest at first. I've been gradually building my machines up one at a time, through help with my upline, with my business partner Tanya, with help from John and Kathy, getting this process in place. And now starting to see when everything cycles, and here, oh look, there's $200 more in my account.
Isn't that fun?
It's just amazing. Like, I completely ignore it unless I'm putting something in, because I just don't. I love the surprise. I love opening up the computer and looking at the website and going, look at this! I get to buy another position just because I'm involved. So.
It's like Christmas every day. That's what one of our members says. It's just like Christmas every day, and
I'm just getting started.
You can do it more than once. Those cycles start happening, and they just keep coming.
Exactly.
So you can do that several times a day, and that's really a lot of fun. But what's even more fun is when you can bring somebody in and put them with someone and know that you're going to help 2 or 3 people cycle a day, maybe even more,
Exactly.
And that's what thrills me. It's like, oh, I can do, if I do this, I can do this, and this, and they'll all cycle and get $200, and everybody's excited and dancing and happy, and it's fun. It really is.
It's amazing. It really is. And I can say that the atmosphere and the help and the support is absolutely second to none. And I thank both you and John very much.
Well, thank you very much
for everything you two do. I know that I've been on several calls with both of you several times. At the drop of a coin, you guys are there and available. And so, again, anybody out there that's wondering about support, you don't have anything to worry about whatsoever.
Well, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to work with all you people. You're all just so positive and just having fun with it, And John and I are devoted 1,000% to helping all of you. We do this all day long, all night long. So, if anybody needs any help, just get a hold of us through your whoever brought you in, or we have a Facebook group, we have a Skype group, a WhatsApp group, and
just plug in.
Yeah.
Did we get Thomas back here yet? I need to know if we answered the question or if he got what he wanted. Thomas, are you there? She's there.
And Anna Ramirez, oops, I shouldn't say last names. It was, the book was written by Safadine Amus, and Tanya was kind enough to put that in the chat for you. Safadine Amus.
Yeah, Safadine.
Yeah, great book.
You asked if you answered my question, and there was really more to my question that I did not get to hear the answer. So when would I be able to have a one-on-one? Because I know you're needing to get off so you can help that other job.
Go ahead and ask.
We're still here. I mean, if you want to ask it,
definitely.
let's do it.
My question was, I've had an annuity that I've had for a long time, and I was going to cash it out and either put it in a paid-up annuity. And what I mean by a paid-up annuity is it starts paying you a monthly amount that you can start spending.
Correct.
And Thomas was suggesting that I go ahead and invest in this because I would probably benefit more if I did. But I didn't understand that you were talking about the pensions going down, and my question was not related to pensions, but it was related to an investment.
Okay.
A paid-up annuity.
Is it a variable annuity, or is it just a fixed annuity?
The one that I'm cashing out was a fixed annuity.
Fixed annuity. Okay.
But I was wanting to get it into one or move it to a paid up so I could start getting a monthly income. I'm wanting a little monthly income.
Here's the bottom line on any of these things. They're based on dollars primarily. The problem is that the dollar is going to go down. I can't tell you exactly when that's going to happen. I can tell you it's going to be inflated. They're going to go through some currency changes. I know the Fed has decided that it is going to have a 30% deflation, and shortly thereafter they're going to come back for another 30 to 60% deflation of the dollar. That's going to destroy fixed income payments because those fixed incomes won't change. The value of the money that you're getting will go down, but it won't. I mean, you'll still be getting the same amount, but it's just not going to buy as much. That's the problems with fixed annuities. Second problem is the debt basis. Insurance companies provide these incomes based upon bonds. The bond market is 3 times the size of the stock market. The bond market is in terrible position. As soon as the underlying bonds that are providing your payments are in place, every time they raise the interest rate, every 1% increase on a 30-year bond means there's a 10% loss of principal. So you've got a real interest rate risk pending that could bankrupt some companies. It's going to bankrupt countries. You're going to see this thing start probably not in the North American hemisphere. You're probably going to see this happening in Europe or someplace else, is where somebody's countries are going to fail in their bond payments, and that's going to start the cycle. I can't tell you the time frame. I can tell you that the guys that I listen to all the time, Greg Manarino, who talks about the bond market problems, talking to who's that other famous guy that works with countries? Geez, I can't remember his name right now. Sorry. There's just so much information out there about the collapse of the bond markets and this next thing that's going to hit. The thing about getting the money into the Bitcoin is this. It is a non-correlated asset. The Bitcoin values will skyrocket when all of these things happen, and it will maintain and actually increase your purchasing power. I can't predict it. I don't know personally what your needs are. If there's any way you can not annuitize it, you're going to be better off, I would think, because at least you have the opportunity to get the money into the account. Now, is it past the surrender charge period?
Yes, I've had it for about 25 years.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm at retirement age, and I was just going to move it out and invest it into either a different paid-up annuity, or Thomas was telling me about this. And again, my question is, he was encouraging me to invest 100% reinvestment, which sounds good because your nest egg grows faster. But my question still remains: if you don't do that, can you get some money out each month and not have to totally invest 100% so that your nest egg won't grow as fast? But I would have.
I wouldn't do that right now. What I would do is take a look at your existing resources, and I'd probably do some kind of a blend. This is not designed to provide you with an immediate income. The amounts and prices are very low. If you came in with a full pension account, and you're talking about 350 to a couple million, you probably could generate a pretty decent income coming off of that right off the bat. But when you're just starting, it depends on what levels you're at, what income needs that you have. Many times you're just better off doing some kind of a split, maybe taking a portion of what you have, and you got to get it out of the dollar somehow. And it's not safe in a bank, and it's not safe in a stock account. You're going to lose what you have if it's in dollars. Pretty much everybody is. That's a hard thing to say. I spent my whole life building up dollar-based accounts. In 2007, I quit doing my practice because I could no longer, with a straight face, tell people that to put this money in these accounts and you're going to be safe. It's just not going to happen. So you want to find some way to hedge inflation. If there's a crisis or anything, and maybe acquiring some silver right now while you have the opportunity, and then liquidating bits of silver over time, would probably provide you maybe with a better method of an income. Keeping it in dollars is the wrong thing to do. You got to find a way to get it out and make it work. So some alternatives have to come about. Getting into some of the Bitcoin thing and aspect, especially the mining process, is a good thing to do because it's going to generate Bitcoin into perpetuity for you for the rest of your life, which will have, as a non-correlated asset, it will actually offset any of the inflation losses and problems they're going to have with currencies. But an annuity is the wrong place for that money to be if you want to protect it. We've got to do something else with it.
And we can definitely get together with you and go over your personal situation. Correct, John?
Sure. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't charge for this stuff anymore. I mean, I'm just trying to help people get in, protect what they got. Because the only way for me to have an economy is to help you have an economy. That's the only thing that protects me, is me helping you.
Okay, so when can we have an appointment to talk? I know you're traveling tomorrow, so.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, anytime. We can set it up. I can't tell you right this second.
Get with Thomas, and he can get a hold of us, and we can work something out.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay, great. We will do that then. Okay, and we have Alaya. Go ahead.
Hi again. I'm on income assistance. What happens to people on income assistance? Do they take the money away as well?
No, this isn't money.
No, I'm saying, no, what I mean is, what will the government do with the income assistance?
They wouldn't do anything. They don't know anything about it, for one, and it's not going to generate an income. We're going to be having you put that right back in to build your mining power, so that down the road you're going to generate far more Bitcoin. Listen, this is a very low entry point. It's designed to be extremely low and to build itself up using the process to help you generate future income needs. It's not designed as a end-all be-all. It depends on what level you're coming in. It shouldn't have any effect on what you're currently collecting right now. There's nothing there for you to report.
Okay.
This is not like you got a job or somebody gave you money or somebody's giving you things. It doesn't have any effect on it.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you all for participating tonight, and it's been a pleasure having you here with us. We will get together Friday morning again at 10 a.m. Pacific time and do another presentation. So if you have more questions, be sure to write them down and come back Friday. And always get back with the person that invited you here tonight. And if you would like some personal three-way calls or anything, just let us know, and we will schedule those in. So we have one more something in the chat. Oh, thank you, Brent, and thanks for being here. It's really great to see you, buddy. Don't be a stranger. So, all right, do you have anything else to add, John?
Nope, I think we're done.
Okay, he won't. I'm gonna hold you to that, Brent. You want to see your face here, see your name here. So, all right, take care, everybody, and thank you. Thanks for coming. And Walter,
night,
we'll
thank you.
get with you in just a minute. Good night, Miss Tanya. You just you're having so much fun with this. I didn't get a chance to. I'll drill you next time, Friday.
Okay,
And,
sounds
we'll hear
good.
about all your exciting stories because you got a ton of them too. So, great blessings on everybody. Have a great night. And
Thank you.
thank you. Take care,
Night
everybody.
all.
Good night.